No one in corporate America is going to tell you this. As a matter of fact, it would be beneficial for them not to tell you this, because if you were told this information, then that means that you would move up. And if you'd move up, that means that you would have a leg up on some of those in your executive leadership team. So get your pen and paper. We're going to start the secret sauce early. You are not scaling your leadership. As it stands today, you are managing responsibilities and it's chaotic. And since it's chaotic, let me tell you what's happening, what you're looking at. Number one, every approval has to go through you. Number two, you are in every meeting, you're answering every email, you're constantly putting out fires. And if you're doing those things, then you're actually fixing things that someone else on the team and or your peers could handle versus you doing it. And here's the thing, your workload keeps growing, but your impact doesn't. So you've confused busyness with being effective. You've confused being needed with being a leader. You've confused having control with competence. All of these pieces is why you're unable to actually scale your leadership. And since you're not able to scale it, you remain in the cycle. So your leadership is not scaling because your systems, your process, your presence has not scaled and will not scale until you stop owning everything. So you're not burnt out from overworking, you're burnt out from over owning. And since you want everything just so or done just right, you are over owning, you are doing it yourself, and you haven't taken the opportunity to train the actual team so that you can move on to other projects and or initiatives that actually build who you are as a leader. And before you get offended, here's what I want you to do. Look at your calendar. Look at your stress. Look at every meeting that you're in. Look at what your team is actually doing. And here's the truth. You can actually delegate that strategically, but you haven't learned how, and or maybe you do know how, but you haven't taken the opportunity to create the appropriate process in order for you to be a better leader, be effective, and have an impact on the business. So get your secret sauce, because this is where we're going to talk about what scalable leadership looks like. It's not about doing more. It is a system design where your leadership multiplies, which means you are not in the middle of everything. So it requires you to delegate with clarity. It requires you to vet out your communication process as well as your delegation process. It requires you to have strong team alignment. It requires you to have a strategy that requires your team to take on more of the responsibility, whether it is your direct reports or whether it's your peers. That means that you're stepping out of the weeds and into your actual role as a leader. So what does that mean? Leadership is not about holding everything. You don't have to. When you create a system and a process that will allow you to do so. And where do I come in at? Well, my name is Dani Sheldon. I'm an executive leadership coach. My number one goal is to help you to appreciate that everything starts at the top. It's at the core. And it starts with the core of who you are. Once you understand the leadership identity piece, then we move into executive presence. Once you get the executive presence down pat, then you begin to influence the team, whichever team we're talking about. Once that influence is down packed and you've got it, then that's where the operations and the scale comes in at. And that's what we're talking about in class on January the 24th, 2026. Stop operating from survival mode. Start operating from thrive mode. Stop operating from a place where you know and understand what your leadership entails. And this is how you're going to scale it without you being in the weeds. And you begin to have better clarity around what and who you are as a leader. So this is really all about teaching you raw, uncut information for 2 hours, because if you don't scale, nothing you touch will scale. That's really the bottom line. Like, comment, and follow for more, and let me know in the comments how you're doing with your operating and scaling within your leadership.